year is 1482. A battered Somali dhow crests the waves of the Gulf of Aden. Its sails strain against the unrelenting gusts. On board stands Prince Ali Dable, his figure silhouetted against the dim light of a setting sun. Exiled from the Warsangali Sultanate, he flees the only home he has ever known. Around him, his family huddles close, their faces shadowed by exhaustion and fear. Loyal retainers remain vigilant, their eyes scanning the dark waters for danger. Behind them, the port of El Ayo fades into the distance, a place of betrayal and strife. Ahead lies Aden, Yemen, a city of refuge, a fragile promise of safety. But this journey, this escape, is not merely the flight of a man, it is the crucible of transformation. Stripped of his homeland and title, Ali Dable embarks on a journey that will forge him into something greater. He will rise from exile, a visionary leader, destined to shape the destiny of his people. My name is Abdul Qudus Donyale, and today I invite you to journey back to this pivotal moment in Somali history, a story of loss, resilience, and triumph. Through my research into historical records, oral traditions, and scholarly texts, I will guide you through the remarkable life of Garad Ali Dable. Together, we will uncover how this exiled prince returned to reshape the Warsangali Sultanate, how his vision and innovations forever changed the Horn of Africa, and how this story connects to the global transformations of the 15th century. But first, we must take a step back into the history of the tools that defined his reign. Gunpowder, an invention born from the alchemy of the 9th century China. It began as a quest for immortality, a mixture of saltpeter, charcoal, and sulfur. At first, it was a novelty, confined to fireworks that dazzled the skies, but soon its potential as a tool of war became unmistakable. By the 10th century, the Song dynasty harnessed gunpowder's power for military innovations. Grenades, flamethrowers, and crude cannons transformed the battlefield. The secret of gunpowder traveled far, carried by the caravans of the Silk Road, igniting revolutions in warfare and geopolitics. By the 15th century, gunpowder had reached the Horn of Africa, and in the hands of Garad Ali Dable, it would become more than just a weapon, it would become a force for sovereignty and survival, reshaping the history of the Somali people forever. Midnight comes calling. The 15th century was a time of monumental change. Empires rose and fell, driven by innovation and ambition. In Europe, the fall of Constantinople to the Ottomans in 1453 marked the end of an era and the beginning of the Renaissance. Ideas spread westward, new trade routes beckoned. Explorers like Vasco da Gama and Christopher Columbus charted courses that would link continents for the first time. Meanwhile, the Ming dynasty of China reached its zenith, dominating trade and culture across Asia. Islamic expansion reshaped the landscapes of Africa, from Nubia to the Sahel, while the Songhai Empire rose, eclipsing the Mali. Trade and conflict were deeply intertwined, and at the heart of this global transformation was gunpowder. Its explosive potential redrew the boundaries of power, from the battlefields of Europe to the distant coasts of Africa. And it was in this era of upheaval that the Warsangali Sultanate would find its strength under the leadership of a man transformed by exile. In the bustling port city of Aden, Prince Ali found not just refuge, but opportunity. Yemen, with its ancient traditions and strategic significance, became his sanctuary and his classroom. Ali Dable immersed himself in its vibrant culture. He studied diplomacy. He observed the intricate trade networks linking Arabia, Persia, and the Horn of Africa. But his greatest transformation came from a different kind of knowledge. In Aden, he encountered firearms and cannons. No longer distant marvels, they became tangible tools of power. Ali Dable understood their potential, not just as weapons of war, but as symbols of progress. By the time he prepared to return home, he was no longer the fugitive who fled. He was a leader, a strategist, a visionary of the tools to reclaim his legacy. Years later, a man returned to his homeland, not as the prince who once fled, but as Garad Ali Dable, a leader transformed by exile. The port city of Laasqoray erupted in celebration. Cannons roared, their echoes rolling across the Gulf of Aden. Drums thundered in rhythmic defiance, while songs of hope filled the air. The streets overflowed with life as men, women, and children poured into the city to welcome their ruler home. This was more than a return of a man. It was a restoration of a nation's spirit. For Garad Ali Dable, this moment symbolized triumph, a culmination of his vision to reclaim not just the throne, but the dignity of his people. He returned armed, not only with modern weaponry, but with the knowledge and strategy that would transform the Warsangali Sultanate into a beacon of resilience and power in the Horn of Africa. Garad Ali's contributions were not isolated. In the same era, his contemporary Imam Ahmed Gurey was leading an ambitious campaign to defend the Somali identity against Abyssinian incursions. Garad Ali's soldiers, disciplined warriors, played a critical role. As the conquest of Abyssinia recounts, there were fearless infantry and knights whose skill in battle inspired many. These professional forces, trained under Garad Ali's leadership, were key to shifting the balance of power in critical moments of that campaign. This transformation of the Warsangali forces was a testament to Garad Ali's vision. Once known for raw courage, these warriors now embodied discipline, precision, and adaptability. The Sultanate was no longer simply a collection of clans. It had become a unified power, capable of defending its sovereignty against all threats. Garad Ali Dable's leadership extended far beyond the battlefield. His first act was to unite a fractured sultanate through diplomacy and wisdom. He convened councils of elders, forging peace among rival clans and fostering shared prosperity. This unity was the bedrock upon which he rebuilt the Warsangali Sultanate. Economically, Garad Ali revitalized Laasqoray, transforming it into a thriving hub of commerce. The city's strategic location along the Gulf of Aden connected it to Yemen, Persia, and India, bringing wealth and influence to the Sultanate. Merchants praised his fairness, while travelers carried tales of Laasqoray's prosperity to distant lands. Richard Burton, in his travels, described the Warsangali Sultanate as a land of traders and warriors, where the currents of commerce met the unyielding spirit of independence. Under Garad Ali's leadership, these currents converged to create a vibrant and prosperous state. Culturally, Garad Ali's reign was a beacon of intellectual life. His court welcomed scholars, poets, and clerics who celebrated the fusion of Islamic teachings with Somali tradition. Philosophy and literature flourished, creating a legacy of knowledge and creativity that extended far beyond the Sultanate's borders. It was in this dynamic environment that Garad Ali honed his skills as a leader and a strategist, blending the wisdom of his ancestors with the demand of an ever-changing world. His ability to adapt while preserving his people's identity ensured that the Warsangali Sultanate would stand strong in a time of great global change. Garad Ali's legacy endures not in the oral traditions of the Somali people, but in the history of resilience and innovation he helped to shape. His nickname, Dable, meaning fire, symbolized his transformative spirit. It reflected his ability to ignite change and inspire hope, even in the darkest moments. Through his leadership, he secured the sovereignty of the Warsangali Sultanate, modernized its military, revitalized its economy, and strengthened its cultural identity. Today, from the stormy waters of exile to the triumphant streets of Laasqoray, Garad Ali Dable's story remains a testament to the enduring power of vision and resilience. His journey reminds us that even in the face of great challenges, a spark of determination can ignite a legacy that burns bright through the ages.